Conversation is often like a boxing match, just that it's a non-violent one. You need an opponent to keep it going. And that is the problem with trying to practice communication skills. Whether you're learning a new language, whether you're trying to be a better speaker in general, whether you're trying to repair a relationship by communicating better, whether you're trying to be a better parent, or whether you're trying to be a better teacher, whatever your situation may be, everybody could use a little guidance in trying to improve our communication skills, because communication skills improves all the rest of the skills. So how do we practice communication skills when we cannot get help from anybody? Here's how. Before I get into all of that, let me introduce myself. My name is Rai. I'm a former radio and television host, and out here, I'm your public speaking and communications coach. And let me pose for a thumbnail picture real quick while you can subscribe to this channel or like this video if you want to. So how should I pose for this video where you have to practice communication skills, which is like a boxing match? All right, that was my thumbnail picture. Let's get down to it. Here are 5 ways you can do that, and they're really easy and simple overall. Have you noticed every time you go for a haircut, how much the hairstylists are able to talk? Hats off to them. Are none of them introverts? I've never met a hairstylist who is an introvert. They're always so eager to talk, and they can talk about just about anything. Like they're amazing therapists in that sense. So every time you go for a haircut or anything in a parlor, in a beauty parlor, in a salon, what you can do is pick up a conversation on any topic. They will help you move it along. They're great at that game. So yes, those are the people, the best people you can get to practice your conversation skills. Next is cab drivers, taxi drivers, always ready for a conversation. Actually, most of the time ready for a conversation, maybe not always. But if you're on a daily commute, there must be, like even in India, the auto rickshaw wallahs will also start talking and getting into a conversation. So whether it's bus or taxi or auto or whatever may be your mode of communication, other than trains where you do get co-passengers, I think everybody is eager to talk. And when you have a fixed route that you take every day, then you do happen to pick up people along the way that you know, and then you can talk to them daily and practice your conversation skills, because they are just waiting. So they have all the time in the world. Unless somebody is really cooped up with a book or something or on their phone and are not ready to talk, most of the times you will find somebody to talk on commute, and it's a great time saver, honestly. Time killer or time saver. Then at billing counters, when you're checking out a product and you're giving stuff and they're just, the thing is pinging, whatever it's called, that's a good time to just have a casual conversation without getting into anything deep though. And then the 4th thing, and this is completely overlooked, but this is a golden opportunity. Usually we hang up on these people, but the telecallers, no matter which part of the world they're calling from, they have no judgment whatsoever. So you can speak to the telecallers, hear out their offers, ask them cross questions, tell them your situation, get into a really deep conversation. I don't mean that you should waste people's time, but if you hear them talk and if you see how they are breaking down their product, their sales pitch, that will give you a great structure to how you can also talk and break down your presentation or your point of view. And while trying to cross-question their offer, you will often find yourself actually thinking deep into that offer. In fact, if somebody's calling about an insurance and you don't actually need an insurance, it never hurts to hear out an offer. You can get to know about stuff you weren't actually thinking about. I'm not saying get all sucked into it and then I'm buying something you don't need to buy, but you can always get new information. It's a win-win, I think. And then last but not the least, this is rather radical. I don't think any coach, any therapist, anybody would recommend this, but I will, which is the comment section on YouTube. The YouTube comment section is such that if you listen to, like, let's say a 5-minute or a 10-minute video on any topic, try to think deep into it. This is an exercise. This is a thought exercise, because you see, good communication requires 2 things. It requires good choice of words and it requires good choice of thoughts. And now, when you watch a YouTube video on a certain topic, you should be able to rack your brain and come up with something supportive and something interesting to say. It can be supportive, it can be challenging, but something interesting to say where you're adding to the conversation. Either you're drawing from your personal experience to contribute, or you're just cross-questioning their claim. You're saying, okay, you're saying that, but I think. Or you can support them. I said, I'd never thought about it, and this is why I think your advice is great because of a few things, and then you lay out your points. This will help you do a thought exercise, and actually, unlike these other cases where you're actually talking to a person live, where you're not getting a lot of time to think through the conversation, this is one time you should be able to think through what you're going to say, and you should actually practice coming up with finer, refined, sharper points to add to it. And you also get the time to rephrase your sentences and try different word combinations and come up with something really nice and interesting to leave. So why don't you practice the same right away? Why don't you put in the comment section how you found this video? How do you like this channel? Subscribe to this channel, and I would love to have you as a subscriber, and see you in the next video.